The Epstein drama is still out there, and it is getting juicier and juicier since we see the reaction of the current White House administration officials who try to bury the case. But luckily there are tons of the influencers out there who continue to speak about the topic, so I want to join this stream of events because the latest information discovered is absolute shocking. I'm telling about the very long video of CCTV camera positioned in the hall of the prison near the door which leads to the corridor for the camera where Epstein allegedly unalived himself. So this 10-hour with something video was released as the evidence to prove that there was no one coming inside the corridor or to the camera of Epstein, and it was definitely a self-kaput. But now we have not the speculation, no, we have the evidence that that video is fake. It was edited. We know it from the metadata which is contained in the video file itself. It saves some of the history. Especially if you edit the video in Adobe Premiere, you have it. I work in Sony Vegas and you don't have that stuff for your original files. But here it was kind of the poor job done by FBI, who apparently wanted to hide some of the crucial evidence. And guys, in this video I'm gonna refer to CoffeeZilla, who is outstanding investigator. I'm gonna put the link for his original video in the video description below. So let's listen to this fantastic story.
The raw Epstein footage was modified according to its metadata, despite Dan Bongino previously saying that they would release the original footage so you wouldn't think there were shenanigans.
There's video. We are working on cleaning it up to make sure you have an enhanced.
We were working on the video. Why should you work on the video? Just release the damn file recorded on the camera, like all 10 hours or 11 hours, 24 hours, doesn't matter. Just post the original one from original name and not edit it at all. So why should they work on that file? First of all, it's the question.
We're going to give the original so you don't think there were any shenanigans.
Well, unfortunately, that's not what we got. Even the raw video, the original video, was put into Adobe Premiere Pro. This is a scoop from Wired. Quote, metadata shows the FBI's raw Jeffrey Epstein prison video was likely modified. And basically they pulled...
It's not even likely, it's like was modified, because we have the clear evidence of the file which was looked through and it has the metadata. CoffeeZilla, by the way, also will look for it.
The metadata and showed that the footage appears to be assembled from at least 2 source clips, saved multiple times, exported, and then uploaded to the DOJ's website, where it was presented as raw footage.
So not just there is 1 minute absent in the video, as it was confirmed, but also the image itself was cut, edited, stick together. It's not the real freaking video from the CCTV camera, and now we have the evidence of it.
Which technically it is not. Now I pulled the EXIF data myself. This is what it looks like.
So here he has the data of the file, metadata.
You can see that there's these ingredients file path here where you can see 4 different files. 2 of them are just identical. So 2 unique files here that have been basically stitched together.
So maybe like 5 hours and 5 hours at least like stitched together, and here you have 10-hour videos of the CCTV cam.
Is the most charitable interpretation. But look, the stunning incompetence, if that's what this is kind of hard to take. Just over and over, they sort of hype up what they have and then deliver something different in a meaningful way. I mean, you cannot say, hey, we're gonna give you original footage so you don't think there are shenanigans, and then you splice together 2 clips in Premiere Pro. I mean, yes, maybe you didn't do anything with it, but it kind of ruins the whole chain of evidence.
Yeah, because they say like, we're gonna post the real image, like the original, the very, very true evidence that there was no one coming to the cellar. But in fact, some of the cameras were switched off in the facility. They say it was the malfunction. Now, video editing.
Wired actually quotes a professor of UC Berkeley whose research focuses on digital forensics. He has testified in numerous court cases, and he says, if a lawyer brought me this file and asks if it was suitable for court, I'd say no, go back to the source, do it right, do it.
Yeah, original, like all the time, in any sort of the court, only original files are taking. There was the story even with my parents. There was the crime committed not far away from their house. So they have CCTV cameras. Even freaking cameras were taken by police, you know. All of the video system was taken by police for analysis. All of the files, all of this SD cards and everything. The entire system was removed, not just files, to present everything as the evidence, like those were the cameras, this is the system that was recording this kind of the video, it is not AI generated, it is not fake, here is the slot card, here is the file, original one, with original meta freaking data. Here, nothing was done like that. So it is not any sort of the evidence which you could potentially present in a court, especially with the changed metadata. Or basically we are speaking about the new file that was generated, edited and posted.
Direct export from the original system, no monkey business. So that kind of puts it all together. I mean, maybe this is all charitably just incompetence. Charitably, it was just, hey, there was a minute at night missing because it's an old analog video system and there were two different files. They spliced it together. But even that is like, was done horribly in the worst possible way. For instance, the video aspect ratio suddenly shifts as the tape changes over or whatever they claim. You can see that right here. There's like a sudden shift in the video. I have not changed this video in any way. I have it.
It's like a very poor job done by FBI editors or who'd like to hide something there. Even I cannot make this mistake with my videos, but they're so incompetent that they did it, you know? They didn't try to hide the metadata of the file. They have those swap slaps in the video. This is crazy, unhinged, guys.
Premiere Pro timeline, which I guess they had as well, so this is as intended. So there's this just weird shifts in the footage. I mean, this was done in actually a very sloppy way after they explicitly talked about needing to do it in the right way so the American public could rely on it.
I'm not going to withhold information from the American public ever.
But you're withholding everything. Like, there is definitely the list, come on. You were speaking about it. Like, we're gonna have the cut of the video later on after this topic, where you'll see and watch yourself how they exaggerated everything around Epstein, that there is the evidence that we are up to present to you. We're gonna release it like tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. And now, full stop, emergency break, nothing happened. There was no Epstein, no any list, like, it was just him. You know, we were speaking before about 250 victims, now it's 1,000 victims, but somehow Epstein did it himself. He is like a superhero, villain, pedophile, right?
But I'm also not going to rush to get it out there in a format in which they can't rely on it.
Except that's exactly what they did. The promises that were made are just consistently not kept. When you go on Fox News and say you're gonna do it right, you're gonna give us the original video so we don't think there are shenanigans, and then you do this, yes, we can interpret you charitably, but it leaves room for doubt. It's not only the case that at 11:58 p.m. the aspect ratio changes, it's also the case that the enhanced version and the raw version also differ from each other in how the aspect ratio changes. You can see that originally the enhanced and the regular raw version line up perfectly in terms.
Okay, so there is the quality change. I see. Yeah, usually if you render one file, it loses in quality from original one. If you put it in again, it may lose the quality once again, so you'll have tremendous difference with it, and that's why we have this grain
aspect ratio. But when the camera flips over to this new day, now their aspect ratio is actually off from each other. So why? I mean,
like, yeah, it was very grainy, different even colors, and now, yeah, this video was cut and put together 100%. Guys, I'm doing video editing every freaking day on my main channel here as well. It was made up.
This is like so obviously bad. They said they were taking their time with this. They said, oh, we're not, no shenanigans here. But this wasn't a complicated job. It was just about, like, they did mild sharpening and contrast boosting. Why they're playing around with the aspect ratio like they're a film director in their first year of film school is unimaginable to me.
Yeah, really incompetent, guys. Absurd. Total, like this video, I would say from more information coming about it, real metadata, analysis, this video is fake. Like 100% fake. They're just throwing it at us as the fucking carrot to the freaking donkey. You know, you have to forget about everything we said before. It's our Man in Black style. And yeah, new program is written. But actually, it's hard for them to put it in minds of even MAGA community. Because before, for years, they were fed with this information. That there is the Epstein file, that Biden is there, everyone, Clinton, Hillary. Well, maybe it's even like that. And they stated about thousands of videos. Release those. Like, just crop the files, the video information. Do not show victims. Show who was there on the video. I think it would be really easy to identify the person. Let's check out the cut versions of what those politicians were saying before and what they're saying right now. I mean, the current administration and their servants.
Bill Clinton.
Nice guy. Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein.
That island was really a cesspool. There's no question about it. Just ask Prince Andrew.
You say that the FBI has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list. Who?
It was before they got power. Why is the FBI protecting? Because of who is in that list. And who is in this list that you don't want to disclose right now? Come on. It shouldn't be just Biden and Clinton. Otherwise, you would disclose it for sure.
You know, Epstein's an intelligence asset for people in the Middle East, right? I'm like, no, I didn't know that. I'm like, you sure of that? The person, let's say, is like, I'm absolutely sure of that. His plane and that island, the cameras, there's a big assumption out there that these videotapes were exclusively in the custody of Epstein. That's a huge mistake. The reason they wanted this story to go away is because there's an assumption like, oh yeah, Epstein had him. No, he wasn't the only one who had him, according to this source. These assets, that's why this blackmail story makes so much sense. There are a lot of people who are knee deep in the Washington swamp who are not telling you the truth about serious allegations out there that Epstein may have had video and audio of people out there doing things they shouldn't have been doing. And you should be asking yourself the question, how is it that all these people, the CIA director, the Obama fixer, Bill Clinton, all intersected paths with Jeffrey Epstein? Jeffrey Epstein isn't with us anymore, and nobody seems to want to talk about it.
As right now, no one seems want to talk about it. Just forget about this topic, right? That's what Donald Trump is saying, and we're gonna get back to that one in this video.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would.
I guess I would. That sounds encouraging.
I think that less so because, you know.
Less so. He didn't want to declassify files back in June the 2nd, 2024, so 1 year ago.
You don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there, because there's a lot of phony stuff with that.
I guess he was already running by the time on president's position. He understood that he got lots of the chances to win, and even back then he wanted to press the brake pedal. Just a little, but press.
That whole world. But I think I would, or at least
Do you think that would restore trust? Help restore trust?
Yeah, I don't know about Epstein so much as I do the others. Certainly about the way he died. It would be interesting to find out what happened there, because that was a weird situation and the cameras didn't happen to be working.
Yeah, but now they released the file saying that everything is perfectly fine. This is the evidence.
Etc., etc.
I want to talk to you about the Epstein case. I have worked on this for years, trying to get those records of who flew on Epstein's plane and who helped him build.
Well, Trump flew it. The plane. I mean, in the plane with Epstein. It's like the evident. He said about it himself.
This international human trafficking ring.
Absolutely, Senator. Child trafficking has no place in the United States of America, and I will do everything, if confirmed as FBI director, to make sure the American public knows the full weight of what happened in the past.
Release the list.
Release the list. They are laughing themselves to do and fuck.
Seriously, we need to release the F.
So release it. He knew that there is the list. Like, it's the bullshit that it doesn't exist, really. And they confirmed that there are tons of videos, so release.
Epstein list, that is an important thing.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients.
Oh, this is famous.
Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review.
A lot of people are wondering, because you said last week that you have the Epstein files on your desk.
Okay.
When can we see them, and what's taking so long to release them?
I do. Jesse,
I do. So she confirmed. It was like not mispronouncement of something. No, she confirmed for the second time.
there are well over, this will make you sick.
This will make you sick. This is shocking, extraordinary event. Everyone, wait, we're gonna release it, and no, nothing, absolutely zero. It didn't even exist, they say.
200 victims. 200.
Now they say 1,000.
So we have well over 250 actually. So we have to make sure that their identity is protected.
What it has to do with identity? Like, for example, you have some person here, maybe minor. Don't show, like crop the video like this. Show who is there on the video. That's it. That's it.
Other than that, I think tomorrow, Jesse, breaking news right now, you're going to see some.
So tomorrow comes, and what? Absolute zero. Black hole. Files evaporated to the other universe.
Epstein information being released. There are tens of thousands of videos.
Yeah,
of
release
Epstein
part of those.
with children or child.
What kind? Are we going to see who was on the flights? Are we going to see any evidence from what he recorded? Because he had all of his homes wired with recording devices.
Yeah, what you're going to see, hopefully tomorrow.
I cannot stand this. This is the shit show.
Is a lot of flight logs, a lot of names, a lot of information.
Flight logs.
But it's pretty sick what that man did.
Okay, well,
along with his co-defendant.
Absolutely, and he had help. That's for sure.
He sure did.
But in this case, in Epstein's case, it is incredibly disturbing. We have flight logs, we have information, names that will come out.
Is it going to be shocking?
I don't see how it's not shocking. Were so many individuals that were hidden and kept secret and not been held accountable.
Flight logs tied to accused trafficker Jeffrey Epstein have been released to some conservative political commentators. They walked out of the White House holding binders labeled the Epstein.
Clowns. Literally clowns with, like, the Epstein files phase 1. Are those just empty folders?
Files. There was an expectation that this was going to be bigger. You had the same expectation.
We all did. And the FBI handed over a couple hundred pages of documents. But, you know, Sean, I gave them a deadline of Friday at 8 a.m. to get us everything. And a source had told me where the documents were being kept, Southern District of New York.
They were kept on your desk, you said. On your freaking desk. In your cabinet, in your room, toilet, whatsoever. And you say that they are not there any longer.
Shock. So we got them all by, hopefully all of them, Friday at 8 a.m. Thousands of pages of documents.
Thousands? No, we still have those. No worries. Not at my desk any longer. But they're somewhere out in FBI. We have thousands. No, hundreds of the videos. We're gonna release those right away. Tomorrow, yeah, we should have released those yesterday. But tomorrow, wait.
I have the FBI going through them, and Cash is also, now that we have Cash here, it's a game changer.
Yeah, we see the game changer, yeah? We witness with Cash Patel is the huge breakthrough.
Of course. And, you know, we're going to go through it as fast as we can, but go through it very cautiously to protect all the victims of Epstein.
Now, is that the only thing that would be redacted? Will everything else be made public?
It's always about protecting the victim. But you know what? We believe in transparency, and America has the right to know.
What we know is that this was a large network of high-profile, high-dollar predators who abused untold numbers of minors.
Yeah, it was. It was. It is out there. Everyone's like, Epstein was prosecuted for that. They say themselves that there are tons of videos again, and there's the list.
Only one person has been prosecuted for these crimes, and that is Ghislaine Maxwell.
If there was a video of some guy or gal committing felonies on an island, and I'm in charge, don't you think you'd see it?
If you have access to it.
If I have it, period.
Right.
If I have it. If I have it.
Right. If you have it.
Right.
But you can't say that you have it.
No, we're giving...
You cannot say that you have it. No, I don't have it. Like, believe me. Like, all of the bullshit before we say it is just a bullshit.
You everything we have.
So far.
Everything we have so far is...
Have you guys gone over all the video that's available?
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. That's what takes so much damn time.
Did Jeffrey Epstein...
So they... Like, Kash Patel here even say that there is not enough even video evidence.
...himself, or did somebody kill him?
Senator, I believe he himself in a cell in the Metropolitan Detention Center.
Are you going to release all the information about that?
Senator, we are working through that right now with the Department of Justice.
You said Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. People don't believe it.
Well, I mean, listen, they have a right to their opinion, but as someone who has worked as a public defender, as a prosecutor, who's been in that prison system, who's been in the Metropolitan Detention Center, who's been in segregated housing, you know a side when you see one, and that's what that was.
Okay, so probably he watched the original video. Just present one more time the raw files from the camera, and we're gonna believe you.
The answer to that is the same as everything else. I'm not going to withhold information from the American public ever, but I'm also not going to rush to get it out there in a format in which they can't rely on it. So on the Epstein matter...
You just released the file, freaking edited video, so we cannot rely on that. Oh my god. They're so, like at first they accelerated this Epstein informational track to the supersonic speed, and now they're trying to break so hard that even their own fake evidence doesn't work. And this whole bubble collapsing, exposing them of fraud, really, in this case.
In other matters, we are diligently working on that, and it takes time to go through years of investigations, years of political maneuvering, and years of cover-up to get the American people what they deserve. And that's what I'm going to give them.
Yeah, years and years of more bullshit.
And you're going to get the video of the cell, and you're going to see for yourself.
Is there the video of the cell? Really? Or just the hole which leads to the cell?
We do have video. It's not the greatest video in the world. I don't want to set expectations on fire. However, the video does show in that specific block that he goes in, made a phone call. You'll see 12 hours of guards going to basically check on him, come back. You'll see no one really comes out in that bay, in that area, than him. There's no one in there. When you combine that with the other evidence we will be releasing in the coming weeks, we're still finalizing some of the products. I think it's pretty clear.
Overnight, the FBI and Justice Department releasing 11 hours of footage they say helps confirm notorious financier Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide in his Manhattan jail cell in 2019. But perhaps the biggest bombshell, investigators say they found no incriminating client list of Epstein's, no credible evidence that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals, and no evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties.
And yeah, this one here, it's very interesting, you know, Trump's reaction.
Alex Costa, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of the set?
Yeah, sure. If
hey, Pam, could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy?
Donald Trump is exposing himself in this case. I believe if he says, and we're gonna discover more of what he wrote actually yesterday, it shows more and more that he was involved. Never ever Jeffrey Epstein's case was collapsing so fast under any sort of the administration. Just to remind you, Epstein himself passed away while Donald Trump was the president in 2000. 2019.
That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration.
Trump is like this magician on the street. Look here, yeah, we have success, we have tragedy, whatsoever. Here, yeah, forget. No, it's not our case. So let's concentrate on this one. And who would believe here? Like, it's the self-exposure of the involvement in the case. And this is the latest video of CoffeeZilla where he exposes what Donald Trump wrote before. Yeah, it was the big posts of Donald Trump in Truth Social. Now I would say CoffeeZilla will tell us more details here.
The President of the United States is trying to cover the Epstein story. It's the double down, right?
Just look at this post. Look at this huge... Something is wrong with Donald about this case. He's really concerned. And this story, it is just escalating in the informational field inside the United States.
Here on Truth Social, a big post saying that actually it's the Democrats who wrote the Epstein files. This is just after Elon Musk, who worked with Trump for many months, said that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they have not been made public.
Yeah, I also believe
we've
that.
already seen deflections from the president about Epstein, saying that it's a disgrace to talk about him.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? It just seems like a desecration.
But today it goes a step further. Quick context. There's been a lot of infighting in the Republican Party over basically who's at fault for the giant botch of the Epstein files, with the majority of Republicans not wanting to believe that Trump himself was against a full release, but rather that he was sort of tricked into not releasing the Epstein files by one of his lackeys. But today, Donald Trump came out and basically backed Pam Bondi, saying they're all going after Pam Bondi, who's doing a fantastic job all over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. For years, it's Epstein.
All over the guy who never dies. Maybe they wanted him to die after all.
Over and over again. Why are we giving publicity to files written by Democrats who conned the world with the Russia hoax? They created the Epstein files just like they created the fake Hillary Clinton Steele dossier.
So he blames Democrats for creating Epstein files. Before they blamed Democrats for not releasing the Epstein files and they were up to release. Like, this is circus, guys. This is complete idiocracy. And this incompetence of the White House in messing up with evidence actually makes me believe in lots of the conspiracy theories around this case. Especially as we know, Elon Musk reported that Donny was involved in the case, then deleted his post. But I think it is definitely truth.
Now, this is such a smokescreen and a deflection. This is not a left versus right issue. Epstein never has been. It's the people versus the predators, not left versus right. The people versus the pedophiles, the people versus the people on planes. There ain't no left versus right here.
Yeah.
In fact, some of the people who want this the most are people on the right, even on Truth Social. Obviously, a hugely Trump-favored place. Everybody is saying,
fuck you, release the Epstein files, you traitor. That's the attitude. Respectfully release the files, transparency or complicity.
No, this is unacceptable. You have to release the files. Later in the post, Trump also says that these are radical left-inspired documents and to not waste time and energy on Jeffrey Epstein, somebody that nobody cares about. But actually, we all do care about it.
Like, I don't know the person in America who wouldn't care about Epstein files because it's terrible what happened. It involved the leadership of the country's elite, celebrities and everyone, you know. Who wouldn't take care about it? And Donny says, don't look there. No. It's not our business, you know. We're at the golden age. Let's make America great again.
You know who doesn't actually want this out? The elites. That's why they've never done it. That's why it was a compelling pitch when Donald Trump hinted to his base that maybe he was going to release the files. People largely didn't trust the job that Biden had done. That's why it was a compelling story. So the idea now that it was Biden and Obama who invented the Epstein files is absolutely preposterous.
Yeah, and I would say more. Some of the people actually voted for Donald Trump only because of this case. That's how important it is for American society.
They don't want that out either. And maybe that's because, as a producer of 60 Minutes alleged, Ghislaine Maxwell implied that there were tapes on Trump and also tapes on Clinton. You know who else said it? Mark Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein's brother, saying Epstein said, "What I know about both candidates, the 2016 election would have to be canceled." So this whole
Yeah. So Clinton and who else, they also could be involved, but as well as Donald Trump. Yeah.
Idea that this is a left or right thing, it's not. It's the elites. Anybody who was on that plane, anybody who was associated with Epstein, seen with Epstein, even if they did nothing wrong, they don't want that out. Everyone who wasn't seen with Epstein, wasn't on that plane, of course they all want the files out.
It's not about like Democrats and Republicans, indeed. It's like elite versus American law, actually. Here they show that they're above the law and they're able to do whatever they want, even with American people or any other people, minors delivered to this island for sexual exploitation.
And what's interesting is obviously the Trump administration has sort of played footsie with this idea for a long time, playing to their base.
So they're showing documents printed by Democrats here, according to the new Trump's logic. Trump is like his roof is out there completely. He's so scared about this case that he publishes absolute bullshit relative to it. And he thinks that MAGA would believe that. Yeah, there's the part of the MAGA community that supports Donald Trump in any case, even if he would put his pinky winky out and perform the Epstein flash mob with someone in front of the cameras on the stage, they would still have some of the explanation to that, but there is the great part of MAGA which doesn't agree with what is happening, and he already saw the comments.
They know this is a big issue. They had the influencers stand out there with a bunch of released material, but we also showed clips of Donald Trump implying that maybe Bill Clinton and Prince Andrew were doing bad things on the island.
Bill Clinton.
Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island. That island was really a cesspool. There's no question about it. Just ask Prince Andrew.
So consistently, Trump has hinted that maybe these guys were involved with Epstein, maybe it was bad. But turns out all these guys knew each other and knew Epstein. We know this in part from a Piers Morgan interview where he talks to a lady who went to a dinner party with Trump, Clinton, Epstein, and Prince Andrew.
Extraordinary collection of very high-powered people. How did they all interact with Epstein? How did Trump, Clinton, and Prince Andrew interact with him?
Everyone was very, very pally with him, you know. It was like there was close bonds, you could see that.
So it looks like Jeffrey Epstein was really in a close contact and good relations with anyone from the American elite.
These guys knew each other, apparently had dinner parties together, all of them together. Trump later accuses two of the guys of doing bad things, and then when we release the files, can we release the files? Well, no, actually, no, we can't do that. Nobody cares about that. The reason why seems obvious. Epstein knew Prince Andrew. Yes, he knew Bill Clinton. Yes, but he also knew Donald Trump. And recently, tapes were released of Epstein talking and calling Donald Trump his closest friend.
So how do you know this? Donald's closest friend.
So it makes intuitive sense to distance yourself from files that may or may not have your name in it, and even distance yourself from the people involved. It's worth stating Trump actually denied knowing Prince Andrew.
I don't know Prince Andrew.
Oh, fuck. That's hilarious. Oh, my. What a fucking liar he really is.
First, this was immediately debunked by photos showing the two together. And of course, showing that they clearly knew each other as of 2000.
My. Yeah. Oh my God. This guy is a liar. Like, how can you leg this fella now there? Fuck.
The reason you would deny knowing Prince Andrew, even though you did, is obvious. At the time, he was facing allegations related to Epstein. By the way, allegations that now are basically over. Prince Andrew is very happy about us dropping the Epstein probe. A source for The Sun said he's only been abroad once since the scandal erupted. Prince Andrew has always been very nervous about going abroad and always looking over his shoulder, as he should be in my opinion. But now he's very happy because the guy who never met him but was photographed with him in 2000 just ended the investigation.
Yeah, Trump canceled everything and people don't like. I think if like American society swallowed that bullshit fed to them by Donald Trump, it's like a breaking point for society, for the democratic society. It's like the conversion into some sort of the Russian-like state with autocracy leadership. If Donald Trump understands that he can play and get out with that, oh my God, guys, I do not expect good news for United States.
Now, I have to say, Trump's been pretty consistent on the fact he has no interest in releasing the Epstein files in full. He said this multiple times. The reason most people have sort of a false memory of this, the reason it's sort of a Mandela effect that he campaigned on the idea of releasing the Epstein files is because Fox News released a deceptively edited clip where they cut out the part where he said, yeah, I'll probably release the Epstein files. And they cut out the part where then he backtracks on that completely.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
And that's the part most of us saw. Of course, later, people found out that the full clip showed him saying basically the opposite.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you know, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world.
We also have Bill O'Reilly on News Nation saying he just talked to Trump back on St. Patrick's Day, and Trump basically said the same thing.
He said, and I agree, there are a lot of names associated with Epstein that had nothing to do with Epstein's conduct.
Just look at this photo. They're close friends. They were close friends.
Like they maybe had lunch with him or maybe had some correspondence for one thing or another. If that name gets out, those people are destroyed.
As well, yeah, they should be. Like not as for distant connection, drinking coffee, because we all know that there were close relations between Epstein and Donald Trump, and still Donald Trump was elected as the president, so it didn't destroy his career or something. But the files or videos from the island, Jeffrey's Island, could have destroyed anyone's career, for sure. Not just career, but entire life.
Because there's not going to be any context. Media doesn't care about context. So you can't do that.
So over and over, we've seen the same answer from the president. Not the fact that, oh no, the Epstein files, it's a lefty conspiracy. No, actually, it's the worry that people in the files are going to have their lives destroyed.
Yeah, it should be
by the files. That sounds a lot more like covering for the people in the files than it does covering the victims.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've heard Kash Patel and Pam Bondi talk about, oh, we got to protect the victims.
Go through it very cautiously to protect all the victims.
We're not going to re-victimize women. We're not going to put that back out there.
But when we actually hear the president talk about it, and the real reason, right, because he's ultimately the decision maker on whether this gets released, what the real reason is cited is not about victims. It is about the people, the names in the thing. So
elite takes care about elite. They take care about themselves, nothing more, nothing less here. Guys, this is circus, really. I believe that there is no developed country in the world where the same bullshit was possible. Absolutely unhinged story, guys. Let's continue.
I find it disgusting. They're using the victims of Epstein as a shield for the people who are actually in these files. Now, of course, who specifically is he worried about? Well, maybe it's his friends, maybe it's people he has dinner parties with,
or himself.
And of course, maybe it's him, Donald Trump, that he's worried about. The journalist Michael Wolff actually quotes Steve Bannon as saying Jeffrey Epstein was really feared in 2016 for what he knew.
He said during the campaign, it would be the 2016 campaign, you, meaning Jeffrey Epstein, were the only person I was afraid of.
So that is 3 independent sources. You've got the Ira Rosen quote, the Michael Wolff quote, and that Mark Epstein quote, all saying that there is some type of damaging information on Trump. 2 of those people specifically implying that it's also on Clinton as well. You also have the Elon Musk allegation from left field, but he doesn't source anybody, so we won't count that. Either way, I must say, I don't know for sure if Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, Donald Trump were heavily involved in anything nefarious or not. That is exactly why we should all demand that we open these files. But the
they should be #1 persons who would be interested in opening this information, but instead they do everything to hide it.
Possibility of both Democrats and Republicans being implicated in some of these files, whether they did it or not, or just knew him, may give a plausible reason for why the Epstein files have been heavily redacted this whole time. There are very powerful people involved. We've known that. The reason we've been given, of course, is that, we've got to protect the victims. The real reason behind the scenes is really they're protecting the powerful people. Now, the most charitable interpretation is, as Bill O'Reilly said, it's because those people would have their lives ruined. They had nothing to do with Epstein, but we know some of them probably did. We know this from the Miami Herald because the FBI agents who searched Epstein's house found a cache of thick black binders all labeled with names that contained hundreds of naked or semi-naked photographs on CDs.
Epstein stored in various places inside 40-room Manhattan townhouse. Well, that could be a bomb. I would like to have access to those files, but I'm sure they're hiding it deeper than the Saint Grail than they found those files.
That Epstein stored in various places. The labels on the binders were redacted from photos because prosecutors said they were names of third parties who were not relevant to the case they are mounting against Ghislaine Maxwell. So my question is, are those some of the third parties? Their names are on binders with a bunch of explicit photographs that Epstein was storing? That seems like something we should be investigating. Or what about the fact that since the FBI is saying there's no blackmail involved with Jeffrey Epstein, we investigate the Wall Street Journal report that Jeffrey Epstein allegedly tried to extort Bill Gates over an extramarital affair, because I thought there was no blackmail involved. And my real plea to people is to not allow comments like this, these statements about partisan politics, to trick you into thinking this is some type of left versus right issue. That is the Trump play right now. I don't think it's going to work. I think it's a disaster.
Yeah, he's making it worse for him personally, for MAGA community, for reputation of America, obviously, but people speak about it more and more. He tries to disturb the attention, put the focus point away from the case, but instead more and more people are getting involved into really or what could happen in Jeffrey Epstein case, and that will create this some sort of the wave of hate, especially in America, against elite in general, but especially Donald Trump, because he is the guy who canceled this case or tries to cancel.
I think it's very stupid. I think people on the right are just as interested as people on the left. I think this is a universal issue, as it should be. If there are predators in the highest offices in the land, be they Democrat or Republican, we want to know about it.
Ooh, what a ride. Yeah, I really enjoy CafeZilla and how he explains all of the things, how emotional he sometimes is, but at the same time, he really on spot disclosing the information, and which he did before in many other cases. Smaller than this one, but he does usually fantastic job. So the link for his videos is in the video description below. And guys, it's all what I want to say today. See you around.